struggling single dad met the bride a lumberjack rejected and knew she was his perfect match. The snow fell like whispers across the sleepy town of Cedar Hollow, covering everything in a blanket of silence except for the soft cries of a toddler echoing from an old Ford truck parked outside a rundown diner. Inside sat Daniel Cola once, proud carpenter now scraping by with 2 jobs and barely enough time to breathe. Across from him, his 3-year-old daughter. Emma wiped her nose with a napkin and looked up at him with sleepy eyes. Daniel wasn't supposed to be here. Not in Cedar Hollow. Not in this chapter of his life, where every day felt like a new hurdle. After losing his wife to cancer 2 winters ago, he had packed what was left of their lives into a truck and drove across state lines, chasing steady work and a fresh start. But fresh starts, he'd learned, came with old struggles. He didn't notice her at first, not until she tripped over the broken step outside the diner and landed in a snowbank with a shriek of laughter, not tears. That laugh was the first warm sound Daniel had heard in weeks. Her name was Lila. She had hair the color of campfire flames and eyes that held the weight of something unspoken. The waitress helped her up and called her the almost bride. Rumors traveled fast in small towns, and Daniel soon overheard the story. She'd been left at the altar by a rugged lumberjack who decided he loved the woods more than he loved her. But Lila didn't carry bitterness. She carried books. She brought them to the diner every day, sharing them with kids and old folks alike. Emma clung to her instantly, drawn to her warm voice and patient smile. Daniel was more cautious until the night Emma got sick. It was a blizzard. The roads were icing fast, and Emma's fever climbed higher than Daniel dared to handle alone. Lila, who just happened to be delivering soup to the diner staff, saw Daniel pacing in the parking lot. Without hesitation, she grabbed her keys and drove them through the snow, her tiny hatchback cutting through the storm like a lifeline. In the emergency room, Lila held Emma while Daniel tried to hold back tears. "You're not alone," she whispered, and for the first time in years, Daniel believed it. Their bond didn't grow with grand gestures. It grew in moments. Lila teaching Emma to tie her shoes, Daniel fixing Lila's leaky sink. Laughter echoing across the snowy yard as they built snowmen together. One afternoon, as they watched Emma dance in the falling snow, Lila turned to Daniel and said softly, "Funny how life brings the right people when we least expect it." Daniel looked at her, really looked at her. The woman someone else couldn't see the worth in, and he realized she was exactly who he'd been waiting for. Not someone perfect, but someone perfectly kind. He reached for her hand, his voice quiet. "You saved us, Lila. I thought I was here to start over. Turns out I was here to find you." The lumberjack may have rejected a bride, but in doing so, he unknowingly gave a struggling father and his little girl the gift of a lifetime, a second chance at love, at family, and at healing. In a world that often forgets the power of kindness, Daniel and Lila's story reminds us, sometimes the heart finds its way home through the most unexpected detours, and sometimes the love we need isn't the one we planned for, but the one we were always meant to find.